Hello everyone. Today I'll start with a new lecture that is talking about the historical approaches to social policy. This is in continuation with models and approaches, which the unit which I am going to cover, where we'll discuss about the models and various approaches to social policy. So I have in my previous lecture I had spoken about the three important models of social policy, that was residual welfare, achievement performance, and industrial institutional redistributive model. Today, I'm going to talk about certain approaches to social policy. If we look into the historical aspect of social policies, there are three important models in from tracing back to the historical part of it. That is the welfare state approach. The neoliberal approach and the social democratic approach. Now, if we talk about the welfare state approach, I have already discussed many aspects related to welfare state, but still, since it is related to the approaches, and I would further like to elaborate on the welfare state concept and how welfare state is significant, or it is important in making policies. So the welfare state, it continues to develop, and it plays a very significant role in determining the kind of policies which has to be fabricated, which has to be formulated. It is possible to say that not only economic indicators, but also the changes which are taking place in demographic and social structure plays a very significant role in creating policies for a particular welfare state. The welfare state, of course, aims at redistributing income and plays an interventionist as well as a regulatory role, because it takes measures to eliminate the negativity in working life, and it determines the minimum wages, understand the social construct of a country. It also undertakes social security and welfare services, and intervenes by levying taxes as well as other expenditures to eliminate injustice in income distribution. So welfare state particularly talks about redistributive nature of policy system, where you try to redistribute the income and resources among the population. The welfare state is expressed as the deepened and extension of the classic protective state concept. In the modern context, is just not on a spectator state, but it is a player state, because it significantly contributes, and the state becomes an obligatory part or important part to provide the welfare needs and look after the well-being of the people. So all of the definitions regarding welfare state, or any definitions uh, related to welfare state, include the mentality or include the ideology to protect those who fall under, or those who come from a poor socioeconomic conditions. This protection can be done through social policies. So social policies, in a way, they provide a means of protection, preventive measures, safety nets to the most vulnerable population, which is the most important part. Welfare state interventions takes place because, in order to eliminate the negativity or the negative conditions which is required to be done by the state or by the government, and achieve the goals, the broader goals of social policies in an appropriate manner. So the welfare state represents, a cornerstone of modern social policies, which provides a broader framework within which government protect and promote the well-being of its citizens. So it can, it is rooted, deeply rooted in the society, which has collective responsibility to support individuals, particularly the marginalized. So the welfare state, it encompasses a range of social problems and services, educating, including healthcare, unemployment, education, insurance, and social security measures, legislations, laws, etc. The welfare state, it is a system where the government assumes a primary role in safeguarding the interest of the interest of the people, whether it is social or economic well-being or social well-being. So it does so by guaranteeing access to a broad array of social services, thereby promoting social security and reducing any income inequality inequality through redistribution. So equal distribution of resources and income or wealth is being distributed among the population. Welfare states are typically, they are characterized by three important pillars: social insurance, which includes programs and like pensions and unemployment benefits, then public assistance, which includes which offer support, public assistance which offer support for those in poverty, and then universal basic services or universal services such as healthcare, education. So these overarching the overarching goal of a welfare state is, of course, to reduce poverty, promote equality of opportunity, provides a safety net for those facing financial hardships. Social policies within welfare states, they are designed to enhance the social cohesion as well as economic stability, which also, while ensuring the citizen that they should have accessibility to essential resources that help them fulfilling lives, undermining, making the welfare state more proactive and powerful, which explodes, understanding of rather whatever challenges and whatever issues are there faced by the people, the welfare state try to cover within its context. Then there are the certain core principles of welfare state, like universalism and equity, social protection and security, redistribution and social justice, and human capital development. Now, when you talk about universalism and equity, they often operate on the principle of universal access, and where social services like healthcare, education are available to all the citizens regardless of their income or social status. The principle is central to the idea of equity, as it provides or is aimed to provide equal opportunities for all the members of the society. When you talk about social security and protection, one of the most important feature of welfare state primary goal is to protect individuals from social risk or any such social, in threats such as illness or unemployment, old age. So through social insurance programs, which again are funded by the taxes and contributions, welfare state aims to provide income security for citizens during during the need of any financial crisis, any economic vulnerability. They were trying to reduce poverty. The social security and unemployment benefits, which covers or which caters social security, unemployment benefits, it actually is a means and a way of providing some social security and protection to the population. Then redistribution and social justice. Welfare state also focuses on the factors of reducing income inequality through redistributive mechanisms such as progressive taxation and targeted benefits. By redistributing wealth from higher income to lower income individuals, welfare states, they try to promote social justice and reduce the income gap between various populations, thereby enhancing social cohesion. So there are various countries, and in a country like ours, there have been a lot of measures taken up to where redistribution and social justice have been taken care of. Then human capital development. Welfare states invest in human capital development by providing access to education, vocational training, skill development, healthcare system. So this investment ensures that citizens are thereby healthy, well educated, and skilled, thus contributing to the economic productivity and competitiveness of the nation. So such social investments are also intended to break the cycle of poverty and access to quality education and healthcare, which would help them to live out of poverty for just not only the present generations, but for the more generations to come. If we talk about the neoliberal approach, the neoliberal approach to social policy emerged again as a powerful political and economic ideology in the later half of the 20th century. Primarily, it was an a response to the perceived inefficiencies and economic stagnation associated with welfare state policies. So, grounded in the belief that markets are the most efficient mechanisms for resource allocation, neoliberalism emphasized minimal government intervention, privatization, individual responsibility, and the decentralization of services. So, this essays explores the core principles of neoliberalism in social policy in the historical context, as I'm going to talk about, and how it is impacted, how it is how its impact on the society, along with the criticism that reveals significant challenges and limitations associated with this approach. If we talk about the historical aspect of it, neoliberalism gained prominence in the 1970s and 80s, a period marked by global, downturns, rising inflation and unemployment. Economics and political leaders such as Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan, they promoted neoliberalism as a solution to what they viewed as the failure of the Keynesian economics and the extensive welfare state. Welfare state policies dominant in the post-World War II, in some part of Europe and North America, emphasize social safety nets, state provided welfare, and strong labor protections. However, by the end of 1970s, critics argued that these policies were inefficient and unstable and unsustainable, creating economic dependency among citizens and stifling economic growth. So, neoliberalism therefore sought to shift the focus of social policy from state provision to market-driven solutions. So, the emphasis on the market was more and minimal or less, less intervention of the state. What considered to be a better option for creating policies. So, the underlying belief was that a reduced state presence in social services would enable the private sector to deliver services more efficiently, and it would encourage individuals to take greater responsibility for their own well-being. This approach led to policies favoring privatization, deregulation, and reduced government spending on welfare. There are the certain tenets of neoliberal social policies. First was the market-based solutions and privatizations. Secondly, reduction of the welfare state, emphasis on individual responsibility, efficiency and cost effectiveness, and decentralization and localized governance. Now, if you talk about the market-based solutions and privatization, at the heart of neoliberalism is the belief that the market, rather than governments, are better suited to allocate resources effectively. So, neoliberal policymakers, they advocated for the privatization of public services such as healthcare, education, and social housing. They argue that by introducing competition and profit incentives, private providers can deliver high quality services at lower cost. So the privatization of social services, became of paramount importance and had also been very controversial. While the proponents argue that market competition enhances service quality, critics contended that privatization prioritizes profit over public welfare, leading to certain inequalities in accessibility to essential services, especially for low income populations who may not be able to afford privatized services. So, and then reduction of the welfare state. Another central tenet of the neoliberal social policy is the reduction or restructuring of the welfare programs. So, neoliberals argue that the extensive welfare programs created dependency, it discouraged work ethics, and it drained public resources. So, by reducing welfare provisions and targeting social assistance to those those deemed most in need. So if you remember the residual concept, residual welfare model, it is closely associated with this neoliberal approach, where it felt that it is, the state intervention would come at last when the individual and the other key players have been exhausted. So neoliberals believe that the state can focus on promoting economic self-reliance rather than fostering dependency. So this often involved, mean tested program or mean tested issues which limited social support to individuals meeting their specific ability criteria rather than offering universal benefit. So while reducing welfare state provisions, it can reduce public expenditure. It can also exacerbate, it can reduce poverty and inequality. The critics argued that if there is a cut in the welfare expenditure and welfare programs, disproportionately, it would affect the marginalized and the vulnerable populations, leading to worsened social exclusion and economic instability. So there was certain negativity, certain criticism related to this part of it. Then emphasis was on individual responsibility. Now, neoliberalism policies, it placed much emphasis, or stronger emphasis, on individual responsibility and self-reliance. This approach, it posits that individuals should take charge of their own economic and social well-being. So welfare programs under the neoliberal approach policies, they were often conditional, requiring recipients to engage in activities such as job training, education, employment, skill development in exchange of any assistance. So the underlying belief is that these requirements encourages the recipients to re-enter the workforce and reduce reliance on government support. So however, again, there were certain critiques that they argued that this emphasis on individual responsibility fails to account for structural inequalities, such as limited access to quality education, job opportunities, or any discrimination. For some individuals, particularly facing systematic barriers, self-reliance may not be feasible without adequate social support, so thus limiting the effectiveness of the policy approach. Then efficiency and cost effectiveness. Neoliberal social policy also advocated for efficient and cost effective service delivery, often achieved through cost benefit analysis and performance based assessments. By minimizing bureaucratic processes and administrative costs, neoliberalism aimed to streamline social programs and reduce public spending. Welfare programs were designed in such a manner, they would be temporary, they might have some conditional assistance rather than long-term entitlements with strict eligibility requirements and accountability measures. While this approach can lead to more streamlined services and at potentially at lower cost, it also risks sacrificing the quality and accessibility, the quality and accessibility of if well, this approach can lead to a more streamlined services and potentially lower cost. It also risks sacrificing the quality and accessibility of social programs. So efficiency focused policies can sometimes lead to underfunded and understaffed services, which may undermine the support available to individual in need. Then decentralization and localized governance. Neoliberalism favors the decentralization of social services, advocating for local governments and community organizations to take control over, managed by central government. So neoliberals argue that the local governance can respond more effectively to community specific needs, and facilitate innovative solutions. So decentralization could be seen as a part of reducing the state's direct involvement in social policies while empowering local actors. However, decentralization can also lead to significant disparities in service quality between different regions, as local authorities with fewer resources may struggle to provide adequate support. So this regional variability can increase social and economic inequalities within the country, thereby limiting the equitable access to essential services. Now, if you talk about the impact of neoliberal social policies, the neoliberal approach to social policies has had a wide-ranging impact. Advocates claim that neoliberal reforms had improved the efficiency and innovation for social services, decreased public debt, and increased labor and market participation. For instance, policies that encouraged work participation have led to reduced unemployment in some cases, promoting economic growth and reducing public expenditure on welfare. However, the negative impacts of neoliberal social policies are also equally profound. The emphasis on the privatization and self-reliance has been linked to growing income inequality, social exclusion, and limited access to basic services for marginalized population. So, reduced welfare benefits and stringent eligibility requirements can make it difficult for individuals in poverty to access necessary support, while decentralized services can create inequitable outcomes across regions. So, the neoliberal approach to social policy, it represented a fundamental shift from state-centered welfare provisions to market-driven solutions and individual responsibility. So, while this approach has contributed to the efficiency and cost effectiveness of some social services, it has also, it has also aggravated, or it has also uh, created more social inequalities and limited access to essential services for disadvantaged populations. As societies continue to grapple with issues of poverty, inequality, and social justice, the neoliberal approach faces ongoing scrutiny. The challenges it presents calls for a reconsideration of how to balance economic efficiency with the need for more equitable, accessible social support system that would serve the collective well-being of the society. Uh, if now we'll talk about the social democratic approach, the social democratic approach to social policy is grounded in the principle of equality, social justice, and collective responsibility. So these welfare states, they are responsible for equality of the highest standards and are literally guided by the social democratic principles. The state promotes policies which are highly decommodifying and universalistic in nature, and yet it suits to different expectations. The dualism of state and market, or between middle class and working class, is essentially reduced to ensure social rights enjoyed by all are identical, and yet benefits are given out according to one's income. So this model also encourages strong solidarity amongst the beneficiaries to in turn support it. Hence, it is a great fusion of work and welfare, that is a welfare state working towards achieving full employment rate, and it's the only way of how people will be able to support this welfare state, where more people work, leaving very few to live off social transfers. So, if you talk about the social, if you look into the part of defining social democratic approach, social democracy is an ideology which seeks to combine the principle of democracy and socialism, aims for a society where social welfare means and economic securities are accessible to all. The social democratic approach to social policies involves a strong commitment to reducing social and economic inequalities and providing universal social protection. Unlike the neoliberal approaches, which emphasize market-based solutions and individual responsibility, social democracy advocates for significant government involvement in the economy and social services, seeing this as an essential way of achieving a fair and cohesive society. It is also referred to, sometimes the social democratic approach is also referred to as social liberalism or collective approach. And this approach states that the state provides for greater levels of social welfare services and in regulating people's lives to an extent that is unacceptable to, which is sometimes unacceptable to the new right thinkers. However, the social policy makers influenced by social democratic approach as having an important role to play in managing society. They believe that the state should protect its citizens from the extremes of poverty and should act to prevent the development in society of major social and economic inequalities. The key principle that guides any social democratic policy is equality. So, new right thinkers believe that financially successful individuals should be free to choose what to do with their wealth. But social democratic thinkers believe that it is a duty of better off to support people who are in need. So they are more likely to impose taxes on high earning individuals and use this to fund on social welfare services. I would like to take, that's all for today. In my next class, I would begin with the theoretical approaches to social policy. Thank you, everyone.